Hello and welcome to the Positive Force. I'm Titus Wright and thank you all for joining us today. We have a fantastic topic today. Our topic is, what is your learnability index? How teachable are you? From a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate? With 10, of course, being the highest. And then another question, what is your changeability index? Yes, there are two. So you have to multiply your learnability index by your changeability index, and you should get 100%. Anything less than that is not good. For instance, if you have a 5 for learnability and a 3 for changeability, that's only 15. You need 100. So that means you have absolutely none. We're going to talk today about your learnability index and being willing to change. See, you can learn something very well, but not willing to change and implement it or execute it. That's a problem. A lot of people know a lot of information, but they're not willing to budge. And people say the older we get, the more difficult it is for us to change. We're willing to learn it, but are we willing to implement it and make a change? What they say too soon old and too late smart. That doesn't apply to this information I'm about to share with you, because you're only as old as you're thinking. A lot of people in their 80s and 90s, they do puzzles and they do math problems and word problems and keep their minds sharp. One thing someone told me, a manager at one of my old jobs years ago, he said, Titus, you don't know what you don't know. And I was so hurt. I was so offended when he said that. I felt like an idiot when he said that. In other words, you don't even know what you're supposed to know. That was a problem for me. So I'm going to go through 4 steps of how you can begin to learn just about anything. The first thing you have to do is realize that you just don't know. And I realize the more I read and study, the more I realize what I don't know. So let's check this out. 4 steps. The first step of learnability is unconscious incompetence. That means you don't know what you don't know. You're unconsciously incompetent. You don't even know what you have to learn. And once you find out, oh my gosh, I don't know this. I didn't know I didn't know this, or I didn't know I had to learn this. So now you become aware of what you don't know. And on that second stage, they call that conscious incompetence. In other words, now you know what you don't know. That's a start. That's half the battle right there. Knowing there is something you have got to understand and get knowledge of. And we call that conscious incompetence. You haven't learned it yet, but now you know what you need to learn. And that's where the third stage comes in at. Conscious competence. Now you know what you need to know and you're actually learning it. And that third stage, you tend to stay there longer because you're learning now. You're more conscious of becoming more competent. So you're in that third stage for a long, long time because now you're learning, you're understanding, you're grasping information. So now we call that conscious competence. I'm aware of what I don't know and I'm learning it. I'm learning it and I'm learning it quickly. I'm learning with understanding. And in that stage, I'm there for a while. Now I'm grasping and gathering information. And once you get that information so well as you relate to experimenting with it, practicing and implementing it, and actually going through the motions of doing it, studying it, some things you can learn so well. That's where the fourth stage comes in. Now you know it so well, like the back of your hand, you don't even have to think about it. It's like walking down the stairs or tying your shoe. You don't have to think about tying your shoe if you're an adult, because you've done it so many times that it's now unconscious competence. In other words, you know it so well, you're unconsciously competent. Know it like the back of your hand. Yeah, you don't have to think about it or rehearse it. You know it so well. Now, at that last fourth stage, unconscious competence, you know it by heart, they call it. You know it by heart without even thinking about it. Now, after you get this information, now we know you've gone through the learnability index. You have now a high learnability index. I would say between 9 and 10 at this point. But now, another problem. How changeable are you? What is your changeability index? Now, if you learn all this information, say you have a 10, but you have a 2 changeability index, it's no good. It's 10 times 2 is just 20. So you need 100. So you still haven't learned anything because you haven't implemented it. You haven't put it to the test. You have not been willing to execute it and change your life using this information. Listen, knowledge is only good if you actually put it into operation. People have all these degrees and all this information, but it's no good if you're not utilizing it. If it's not changing your life. You've got to have a high learnability index along with a high changeability index as well. So if you're 10 on learnability and 10 on changeability, that's 100. Fantastic. So there you have, folks, the 4 stages of learning. Unconscious incompetence, number 1. Number 2, conscious incompetence. Number 3, conscious competence. Now you're learning how to do this stuff. You know what you need to learn, and you're learning it. And of course, the 4th stage is unconscious competence. You know it so well, you don't even have to think about it. Well, folks, that's our lesson for today. What is your learnability index times your changeability index? I'm Titus Wright for the Positive Force. Don't forget to click down at the bottom, make your comments known, and of course, subscribe. Have a fantastic day. See you next time, and God bless you.